Alright everybody, you can see the planter as it's pulling into the field. When you look out here in the field, you can see there's green and growing plants out here. We plant in a system called no-till, which means we don't disc up the land before we plant. So this is a 12-row planter, and this is what we're going to use to plant the corn seed. The planter right now is in travel position, and it's rotating around behind me. In the cab of the tractor, Farmer Pete is up here. He's working some controls, and it makes it spin around in the position that it's going to need to be for planting. It spins around, and then he's going to pick it up, and it's going to unlatch. There's a special lock to keep it from collapsing, and then he'll lower it down, and then he'll pull this whole tongue. This is called the tongue right here. He'll pull this forward closer to the planter in the planting position. So you can see he's lowered the planter down now, and a little bit, I don't know if you can hear the noise, it's squeaking, but this is allowing the system to get ready to operate properly. He'll make that sound for a few minutes or for a few seconds, and then he'll pick it back up, and then he'll pull the tongue forward. So you see him picking it up now. All right, now here in a second, you'll see this center part raising up. It's bringing this forward. You can watch right here. You'll see this latch. All right, so that's latched and locked into position now. And now we're gonna get ready to start putting corn seed into the hoppers. I'll show you what they look like. These are the hoppers right here. This is where we'll store the corn seed as it's in the planter. You can see they're empty now. We haven't loaded any in it yet, but we will in a little. So with these corn seed here, we are going to plant one seed like this. This is what we have for a corn seed. It's going to plant in the ground, and we're going to plant 27,000 seeds per acre. So that sounds like a lot. So we're going to plant 27,000 of these little seeds in 1 acre. And from this one seed, a corn plant will come up, and we'll be able to harvest it at the end of the year. So right now what we're doing, like I said, we're loading up just a small amount in these hoppers. And the reason we do that is we're helping to make sure that we're right with the amount of seed that we're going to plant in this first little field that the tractor's in. There's 9.5 acres in this field. So we know that if we want to plant 26,000 seed per acre, it would take roughly 3 bags of seed to plant this one field. In each bag of seed, there's 80,000 seed kernels. So we do some basic math with some big numbers, and that tells me that I need just over 3 bags to plant this field. I think it's 3.08 bags of corn seed. So we're gonna put that amount in these hoppers just to make sure that we're right, double checking ourselves, because corn seed is expensive and we don't want to waste it. And also, you can put it too thick and they'll crowd each other out, but you can also put it too thin. And if you put it too thin, then as the plants grow, they won't be able to shade out the ground to keep weed seeds from coming up. So there's a lot that goes into it. As you can see behind me, it's a beautiful sunny day. Now when you plant corn, you need it to be a certain temperature. The soil temperature needs to be right. You also want to make sure that the soil has good moisture, because as a seed, it needs several things to grow. So one you can see behind me is sunlight. Another thing it needs is the soil temperature to be right, which right now the weather's been good and warm, so we have good warm temperature at planting depth. And then we also need the ground to have good moisture. So if I dig down right here, you can see how the ground looks dark and wet. That means that we have good moisture down here in the ground for the seeds to grow. The first corn seeds going into the ground for the 2020 growing season here at Gillis Hill Farm. You can see this is the row marker I was telling you about. It's spinning as it goes past. this is the planter. All the wheels are turning and the seeds are being planted. What we'll do now is we'll take a minute and we'll look at the ground here and see if we can dig some up. So you can see where the corn seed is planted in the row. So we're gonna dig some up. We're gonna check the depth of the corn seed to make sure it's planted the depth that we want. So for corn, here what we like to do, we like to plant the corn at least 2 inches deep. And the reason we plant it 2 inches deep is because the deeper we plant it, within reason, you can't go too deep because the corn seed would never come up and it would die. But at about 2 inches deep, you can see I dug up a corn seed right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right here. So the reason we like 2 inches deep is because at 2 inches, the seed is deep enough that it'll be able to produce all of the roots that it needs to grow. So the roots is what it uses to go down in the ground and spread out everywhere and to absorb the water and absorb the nutrients that are in the ground to help make the plant grow. So at 2 inches, the corn seed is planted just right and able to get the most amount of roots that it needs down into the ground to be able to collect all the water and nutrients it needs.